Welcome to the Tom Benty Media Podcast. After a little bit of a hiatus, I am back. Very happy to be back here with Amanda Gargiulo. She is a health and wellness and nutrition expert located in New Jersey, originally from Staten Island, and she has her own podcast. And she does a lot of yoga. She teaches yoga, and she has a very interesting background related to health, wellness, and nutrition. So, wanted to welcome Amanda onto the show to provide some interesting facts and insights in terms of how we can be healthy. It's obviously a big concern for a lot of people. As we get older, how do we stay healthy? How can we look and feel the best we possibly can? And Amanda is an expert in that field. So welcome, Amanda.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be able to share, hopefully, some insight and help everybody to feel inspired to become what we always say on the podcast 1% better every day.
Sounds great to me. So I know you have a very interesting background. If you could maybe just talk a little bit about how you got here into the health and wellness space and in yoga and as a career. This isn't just a hobby for you. I mean, this is really your whole life. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got here? I think that's interesting.
Okay, sure. So I started out working in television production after college. It was really fun and exciting working in like that glamour industry, but it does get very stressful. I worked in talk shows. So I worked for the Montel Williams show, the Wendy Williams show. I worked at Sony Television. The hours are long. If anybody is familiar with the industry, the hours tend to be really long. And you sometimes go from show to show. So I ended up getting laid off. My husband said to me, "You always wanted to perform. You always wanted to do on-camera hosting. You always wanted to act." He's like, "Why don't you just go back to school for it?" So I did. I took his advice, went back to school. Once I started auditioning, though, that's when things kind of shifted for me. I think that being in that space of being judged became really stressful for me. I wanted to do what I could to manage the stress, and that's what landed me actually into a yoga studio. I ended up falling in love with the practice. It helps me to become so present, to really get out of my own way and start to appreciate the process of performing even more than before. I felt like it helped me to become a lot more aware as I was creating characters. And like that ability to become present inspired me to just continue to research the practice to learn more. I ended up doing a 40-day challenge. I did a 28-day challenge, and then I did my teacher training. That's when I started teaching while I was auditioning because it worked together. But the teaching just wasn't enough for me. I was falling in love with the way that I was feeling as I was doing these physical practices. I wanted to learn more about about nutrition, about ways to keep myself really healthy while I was pursuing this career. I ended up becoming a certified nutrition coach, launching my own business called The Nourished Warrior, where I work with cancer survivors and thrivers, warriors, whatever they like to call themselves. From there, I really, I completely changed my diet. I became a pescatarian. I cut out added sugars. I also cut out a lot of ultra processed foods, which is something we can definitely talk about. I never felt stronger in my own skin and more powerful in my body than when I started to make these changes. My energy was through the roof. Taking on these practices has really opened up so much for me. All I wanted to do was to share everything I learned with as many people as I possibly could. And that's basically what brought me here today, to be able to, hopefully take some of what I've learned and what I've been able to experience by working not only with clients and with students, but also, people I've interacted with through my podcast and the things that I've learned, so that this way I could help you, possibly, your viewers, your listeners, to be able to start to take on their own wellness journey if that's what's calling for them.
Cool. Wow, that's very interesting and exciting. And I'll talk a little bit about myself in terms of
Hmm.
my journey with health and wellness and fitness. And I was always generally healthy as a kid and into my 20s and 30s. I did a lot of cardio when I was younger, so I focused just on doing cardio when I was in high school, college, and really that led up until my mid 30s. And then I started to see a shift in the way that the cardio was responding to my body. So my muscle mass as I got into my mid and late 30s really I could see was not as firm as it used to be. And
Mm.
so I switched and I started focusing on doing weights along with the cardio. And I did see some improvement and I was building up some muscle that way. But then when COVID hit, we weren't allowed to go to the gyms, as you remember. So I was doing a lot of stuff at home and I started doing calisthenics and I just found YouTube workouts and I focused on that. And that's really brought me to today. And I feel like I am much stronger. I have a lot more energy, a lot more muscle mass now doing mostly calisthenics. And I'm trying to incorporate more cardio when I can. And I still do. But it sounds like yoga, and I haven't messed around too much with yoga, but it's using your own body to build core strength, correct? And can you talk a little bit about how that just the act of doing yoga really helps you in terms of your body composition?
Yeah, sure. I think similar to you, before I started practicing yoga, I would just go to the gym. My husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, would just help me work out. I didn't really know what I was doing. I would do the treadmill a little bit. I'd go on an elliptical. Maybe I'd do some of the machines. And I thought, I was like, all right, I look okay. But doing yoga was where I established exactly what you're talking about, that core strength. And I'm speaking specifically about the physical asana practice because, as you may already know, and some of your listeners might already know, there are 8 limbs to yoga, and the physical asana, which is like what we really focus on, I feel like, in our country, as a way to get into the practice, is basically what we're talking about now. But it helps me to I don't know, I guess I felt stronger and more powerful practicing it than I ever have. Like after taking on a consistent yoga practice. So I've been practicing yoga now since 2018. So it's like 5, 6, 7 years at this point. I can actually in the middle of a room and not to say like, oh, pat on my back or anything, but I can actually go into the middle of a room and go into a headstand and like lift my body weight into some of these positions. And that's something that going to the gym or doing cardio and even even some of the things that I was doing years ago before I found yoga didn't help me to have like finding yoga helped me to have that mind body connection to be able to really put everything into play that I was doing so that I'm actually able to physically lift myself and I don't, and when you're doing power yoga, for the most part, unless you're bringing in weights or like weights that you can put on your wrists or on your legs, you're really using your own body strength to lift your body weight, it's pretty cool. Like when you think about it. And I'll tell you the breath work that we do, using the breath to help us to stay in these poses that can be really challenging, has translated to helping my workouts. So when I'm actually strength training, I'm able to use those breaths to lift a little bit heavier and to stay in those some of the uncomfortable positions a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, for me too, it's like when you're actually using your own body weight to build up muscle. I found it to be just incredible to just see the results in ways that I
Mhm.
haven't seen before. So I do put 100 push-ups a day. I'll do 60 pull-ups and a lot of like ab exercises, just sit-ups. It's like the stuff we did when we were like kids, really, like in elementary
Mhm.
school, is a lot of what incorporates my workout routine today. And I mean, doing pull-ups, I think, has been just a complete game changer for me. Like day in, day out, doing those 60 pull-ups and the push-ups. It's just I haven't seen the results I have doing weight workouts. And it's I mean, because you can be out of shape and you can still power lift or you can still do uh workouts when you're using weights, but you really have to be in really good complete physical shape throughout your whole body to be able to do calisthenics, to be able to do 40 50 push-ups in a rep or 10 15 pull-ups. I mean, you can't be out of shape to do that. And I've just seen, just like I said, just a lot of results. And just I mean, as you know, as someone who's in my mid 40s now, I really feel like I'm in the best shape of my life just by doing the calisthenics every single day. It's just part of my routine. It's just I wake up, I usually go to the gym because they have a a turf area where I can do everything and they have the pull-up bar. And what's really nice in the summertime is I get to work outside. Do you ever because in Seaside Heights they have a workout park, and I love going there. It's one of my it's the best investment any town can make. Just a turf field with the pull-up bars and the stretching equipment, and it's I take advantage of it every single day. It's wonderful to work out outside. Do you do yoga outside? Do you ever do beach yoga?
Yeah, so I love beach yoga, and because I'm from Staten Island, I've only been down here on the Jersey Shore for the past 2 years. So I have practiced yoga on the beach. I love it. It's a little bit of a different experience because the sand is not stable. So doing your balancing practices helps you to get really present and really start to fire up muscles that probably you didn't even know were there. Sometimes we're a little sore in different places than we expected. But when I lived in Staten Island, I lived right near a park. I used to teach yoga out by the park. So it's awesome the way that other senses get heightened when you're outside too. So like when you're doing yoga, a lot of times it could be quiet or there could be music, but when you're doing it in nature, it's a completely different, like really immersive experience. So that it makes it a little bit more fun. It's exactly what you're saying. It's like you got to switch it up sometimes. As much as like you're doing your workouts every single day, sometimes just doing something a little bit different can help us to get excited again because as much as you and I are in this world, right? Like I'm in the wellness world, you love fitness. It doesn't mean that it's always so easy to show up for our workouts, right? Sometimes, I don't know, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, sometimes I have to give myself a little bit of a push to be like, I know how good I'm going to feel after. I know what I'm doing. Everything that I'm doing is really great for my body and for my mind, but sometimes getting off the couch requires me giving myself a little kick in the booty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you do something pretty much every single day, when you don't do it, you feel upset. Even if you don't want to do it, even if you're tired or you're lethargic, it's so ingrained in who you are and your whole routine. It's hard not to do it. And if you don't, if you stop doing it for a few days, like it feels awkward. It feels strange
Mhm.
because it's not just about like doing a workout. It's really a lifestyle thing, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. I literally, I'm like, is this terrible? Everybody, you can judge me if you want to. It's totally fine. I'm free. I'm an oversharer, but I'm lucky enough that I do get to work from home. And when a lot of times I'm building my schedule around my own workout routine. Like, so I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself because when my workout's done in the morning, it gives me the ability to show up and to be really present and to support my clients because I'm not focused on like the things that I wanted to get done. I'm able to really dial in to show up for them and to be able to be their soundboard. If it's like that concept of when you take care of yourself, when you feel good yourself, you really have the ability to show up for others when they need you.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
for someone like you who's working with clients, who's involved in the fitness space and the health and wellness space and helping people on a very real basis in terms of how they feel, first and foremost, I would imagine you have to feel good yourself. You have to make sure that you're in a place where you feel that you could give your best to your clients and you could provide them with a service that if you are, not in that place, it's not going to be the same experience for them.
And then it's also like where you have, I personally can only speak from I, have like that voice in the back of my head where I'm like, I'm coaching these clients to do these things to take on this healthy lifestyle. I have to be doing it myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you,
Mhm.
yeah, because you have to have that genuine authority and make sure that you're in a place. No, but that's because it showcases character, I think, because some people it's all about just the monetary exchange, but for
Mhm.
you and for people that take this seriously, like you can't be out of shape and giving advice on nutrition, health, and wellness. Like you have to be someone who's your client of yourself, really, right? And the best
Mhm.
advertising
Mhm.
is your own ability and your own health and wellness.
Mhm. Yeah, I have to basically walk the walk, right?
Pretty
I
much,
can't
yeah.
I can't tell you to make sure that you're getting like a salad every single day and there I am running to Smash Burger, right? Like that's not fair.
Well, let's talk about nutrition because I know you have a lot of experience with nutrition. And for me, and I don't, this is kind of like very unique to me. I don't meet that many people that follow like what I do, but I do fasting. So I'm big into fasting. I really started, I don't know, when did I start? I don't know, a few years ago, like during the pandemic, I kind of got into it. And I've tried different things throughout my life. And when I was at my heaviest, it was when I was like, because I remember someone told me, this is years ago, someone told me, oh, just make sure you're eating a little bit throughout the day so you don't get yourself too hungry. And for me, that just didn't work. For me,
Hmm.
what works in terms of keeping my weight down and making sure that I'm healthy is fasting. So I generally don't eat breakfast, generally don't eat lunch. I only eat after like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. And I built myself up to that. So when I first started, I remember it was like, well, if I can go to like 11 a.m. or 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. without eating. But now I'm
Hmm.
at a position because I've been doing it for 5 years or so. I can go pretty much all day and not eat. And it's just, I just got used to it. It's just part of my life. I mean, I'll have breakfast a few times a year. So yeah, do you have any experience with that? Do you know about fasting? Do you have any expertise on that?
So what I do know about, and I've learned a lot, like research wise, but because I work with cancer, a lot of the research I know is about cancer specific. So there is a link with intermittent fasting to reducing some inflammation markers on your blood, in your blood work. But I think that the research really speaks specifically, sorry, to the 13 to 14 hour window. So that's what I'm really aware of. Like if you're fasting for that like 13 to 14 hour window, and then for like maybe 10 hours you're eating, that's like what I believe the research has been, that as well as like the 16-hour fast and the 8 hour window. Is that what you're doing? The 16-8, or you do longer than that?
No, I do longer than that.
You do longer.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
like 24. Um, I only eat once a day generally, but I'll
Okay.
on the weekends I because I'm never going to be the person that's going to be like small portion size. I love to go out to eat,
Mhm.
love to go to the restaurants. If I go to a restaurant, I'm not just getting like generally, especially if it's on a weekend, I'm not just getting a salad. Like I'm gonna get the pasta, I'm gonna get the entree, I'm gonna get everything.
Mhm.
So and that's just, that's never gonna, like, I'm never gonna be that person who's gonna be on portion size, like when it comes to that. So I finally understood that and I incorporated what works best for me, and it works. It really does. And I
Good.
can go now. I can go, 24 hours without eating. If I have a big meal, I could even go 48 hours. So I'm really can dial in to the fasting, and I feel good. Like, it's obviously there's points where you're hungry, but it does really ground you, just like yoga grounds
Mhm.
you. It can really make you feel very in tune with what's going on and very present. And I I would recommend it. And I know it's not for everybody, depending on like blood sugar levels and
Yeah.
things like that, but for me, it works really well.
Yeah, that's what I was concerned about actually. I was like, how are your blood level? Like, I'm sure you're taking care of yourself, so you're getting your blood work done. That's what I was worried about, more like blood sugar balancing. And if you're feeling good doing it, awesome. Because I never say there's a one size fits all approach to nutrition at all. We're all so different that what works for you might not work for me. And like, even my podcast co host and I talk about this all the time. Like, she's a triathlete. What she does is never what I'm going to do. So it really is person to person goals, person to person workouts, lifestyles. It's got to work for you.
Yeah, and you see
Mhm.
that online. I mean, you go online, as you know, let's make it all about eating all meat all the time, or let's be pescatarian, or let's be vegan.
Mhm.
I mean, there's so many different diets out there, and everyone has their own perspective. But I do, like you said, I think what works for you is what is going to be best. Like, not
Mhm.
everything is going to work for you. So I found finally, in my 40s, I found really what works for me. But
Mhm.
I think it's different for each person, just like you said.
Definitely. And you mentioning like social media and being online, it's so interesting what's being thrown out. There's so many trends now. There's even like this propaganda trends post, propaganda post that everybody's putting up trending with all these different fads in the health and wellness space. So it's like sometimes it's information overload. It can be really overwhelming a lot of times for my clients too. They just don't know how to navigate it. And that's when it's awesome that you're offering, a podcast episode like this where you're helping people to get information so that this way they can start to learn a little bit more and then always make their own decisions for what works best for them.
Very
Mhm.
cool. Very cool. So let's say someone out there does not have much experience when it comes to health, nutrition, fitness. They're looking to get into it. Maybe they're a little bit overweight. They're not feeling the best that they possibly can. They're drinking a lot of caffeine and it's affecting them and they feel like I could be at a better place right now. And they're not young, they're in their 30s or 40s. Is there any general advice or general input you could provide to someone like that who's looking to get just in overall better shape, looking to feel better, and what are some just basic things that you think that they could do to really just start the ball moving and help them in real ways?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, the best place to start, and this is what my co-host and I always talk about, I'm a whole food focused coach. So I believe in the benefits of whole foods. So then a great place to start is to just shop the perimeter of your supermarket. If you think about the layout of your supermarket, if you, like I think about the Whole Foods in Wall Township, I don't know if you've been there, but you walk in the door, there's all your produce, right? So you have all the fresh produce there. You start going along the sides, you have the fish. You go along the back, you have all your fresh meats, your chickens, your beef, all that. Keep going down, you have your dairy, your cheese. Keep going, you have your milks, then you have your eggs, and then there's all usually like that deli stuff. You come around the side, there's all fresh prepared foods. So these are all the things that I want you to focus in on. And then darting in and out of the aisles, really all you're looking for in and out of the aisles are like your coffees, teas, whole grains, beans, nut seeds, nut butters, rice, things like that, just in and out of the aisle. So for the most part, shop the perimeter. Like they were, I feel like the whoever made the supermarket was pretty smart because you have to pass all of in most of the aisles when you want to go to that healthier stuff, you got to pass a lot of the commercial stuff. Speaking of the commercial stuff, another thing to do in the supermarket, definitely make sure you flip over your boxes and check the ingredients label. If you have lots and lots and lots of ingredients that you cannot read, either Google it or if it's something that you wouldn't want to put in your body, just put it right back on the shelf and just keep going. So
Are you,
I feel like I hope that that's not overwhelming, but I feel like that's a pretty good place to start if you're just dipping your toe into the water.
are you familiar with this app Yuka?
Yes.
Okay, is that legit?
Yeah, so it's interesting that you're asking that. Some people love it and some people hate it. So it all depends on what your goal is.
Why don't is it because they don't believe that the ratings are appropriate?
Yeah, some people get offended, I think, by some of the ratings. That's what I've heard. I haven't used it personally. I use my Fitness Pal, which gets a lot of pushback too. That's the one that I usually use. So it really depends
Is
on
that
the
the
goal.
same thing? Like you can scan
Mhm.
food and see how healthy it is?
Yeah, but I think that the Yuka app, that people don't like it because of the ratings, because like of the good and the bad. And then like because also when you're talking about sometimes the world of wellness, there are also people who are like intuitive eaters and they don't want, and some people, depending on what the background is and like what kind of, I guess, lifestyle they're promoting, they don't like the attachment to the words good and bad when it comes to food. It's
Okay.
like that. I've encountered that too. So it really depends on who you're talking to.
Okay. Okay. For someone like me who is on the go a lot, who doesn't really, I don't really cook. I usually just eat out. What could any advice like how could I really make the best choices in terms of prepared food? Do you have any input in terms of like what would be a good prepared meal or even a snack that could be a benefit that you think is healthy?
Like when you're going to a restaurant or you need something already prepared at a supermarket.
No, like more like a supermarket.
Yeah, so I usually say 5 ingredients or less is like it's going to be less processed. Sometimes there are things hiding in there that we don't realize, and I'll tell you there with everything that's been going on with seed oils in the world of wellness. I don't know if like you've kind of heard about the seed oil like drama that's going on. Unfortunately, a lot of already prepared foods have a lot of seed oils in them. So I recommend just flipping over your packages, checking your labels, making sure that you're staying aware of what you're putting in your body. I was floored myself because I do sometimes buy processed foods because, like you're saying, everything that we do is a lifestyle. You have to make it work for you. I'm busy too, just like everybody else, right? We, especially, I feel like Americans, we're all so busy. There's so much going on. There's so much expected of us. We have to do what we can to make it work for us, right? I never want having to eat become a chore. I want people to be able to enjoy it. I love to eat, so I want everybody else to be able to enjoy it too. So that being said, I flipped over my hummus label because I was buying prepared hummus and I couldn't believe that they put soybean oil, sunflower, and safflower oil in there. I was like, there should really only be olive oil in there. There shouldn't be anything else in there. So the concern with seed oils is not that they're bad for you, right? It's not that they're terrible. The concern is really the balance of omega 3s to omega 6s. We should really only be getting between 2 and 5% of our daily intake from like seed oils and higher foods that are higher in saturated fats. And the problem is that with the processed foods, if you're not checking your labels, it could be upwards of 25% of your average daily intake can be of seed oils. And that can cause a little bit of inflammation if it's not balanced out. So that's the concern. So I definitely recommend checking those packages as often as you can. That's one thing. If you can get like anything that you're getting that's pre-packaged, check the sodium levels. Sometimes they're a little bit higher in sodium if you're somebody who has sensitivity to like high blood pressure or something like that. We want to make sure that you're not intaking too much sodium that can spike that. But then some people tend to go on the lower end of it, and then we recommend salting your food if you're on the lower end. So it's like not a one size fits all answer. I'm sorry. I hope that that's helpful. But yeah,
How about,
definitely.
no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, so sometimes I'll go to ShopRite. They have the salad bar there. Is that a good option? And like I'll get some chickpeas, get some greens,
Mhm.
tomatoes, cucumbers. Is
Yeah.
that has to
That's
be healthy, right?
Yeah, that's the good stuff right there. So definitely like the stuff that you can see that it looks good. It looks like it's not in a package. So that's the thing. Like I even had just gotten for my husband this organic chicken that's really good. Applegate Farms thought it was good. Flipped it over. They actually soak the breadcrumbs that go on the chicken in seed oil. So I was like, they don't have to do that. We have to do that. But yes, but going to like a bar where you can pick all your stuff, usually that's fine. Even there's even some protein bars that are going to be good.
Oh,
There's
well,
things
okay. What protein? So that's a
that
good point. So
oh,
on Yuka, I use the app and I get protein bars, and they said that the Kind bars are the best. So that's what I've been gravitating towards. I think they have 12 grams of protein or 14 grams, and that's what I've been gravitating towards. Do you have any insight on the best protein bars or the best protein shakes?
yeah, so it depends because if you're like a whey protein person, if you do only plant-based protein,
Plant-based protein.
so I personally like Sun Warrior. So
I,
that's the
I
one.
haven't seen that. Like, where do you
No.
find that? You have, is that something you
Whole
get? Whole
Whole
Foods?
Foods,
Okay.
Amazon has it too. Yeah, it's an organic company, a little bit of an older company. But I like Sun Warrior. But the Kind bars are, I mean, it says the ingredients right on the back. They're mostly nuts. There's a little bit of chocolate, and it's usually dark chocolate, which has antioxidants in it anyway, so why not? Enjoy it. I mean, the thing is that you're in a pinch, I'd rather you have something that's packed with protein than nothing and then tank your blood sugar. Or reach for something that's like ultra processed, like go to McDonald's. So I always like the doctor that I work with always says, base it on what would I eat instead of this. So like if you weren't grabbing the Kind bar, what would you be eating? Right? So I'd definitely rather you get something a little bit closer to whole food. Get the protein, make sure you're, able to enjoy it. I like Kind bars. They taste really good. So, yeah.
Here's a good question. So I'll eat protein shakes too, usually plant-based protein. I like plant-based stuff. And you can get a cheap version at on Amazon for I don't know, $20 or $30, and it has a protein in it, and I don't know. I don't really know how to read the labels as well as you do, obviously. Or Kachava. So I've been getting Kachava too, and it's a lot more money. It's like triple the price of what the generic brand is. Do you recommend getting a higher quality protein? Is it really higher quality? Or is that money kind of worth it? I mean, what do you think?
So I usually do err on the side of on the side of caution, especially if you're looking at like a soy protein. A soy protein is going to be more processed. So I'm kind of concerned. I don't love those. If you see like soy lecithin in on your label, usually that's a processed form of soy. So definitely look out for a word like that. Um, and I mean, I do tend to go for the higher quality.
Okay, so it is
Mhm.
it's not like you're not paying for something that you're not getting. You are getting a lot more quality when you buy something that's
Mhm.
of higher value.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, great. And let's talk a little bit about supplements. So I take peptides, I take super beets, I take greens every morning. I take vitamin D, turmeric, vitamin E, saw palmetto, vitamin B. Anything? Oh, I take stuff from like my brain health, NMH, I think. I think my sister got me onto that. I take that. So, do you recommend any supplements? Do you think the ones that I mentioned, are they worthwhile in your view?
Yeah, so it all depends on your blood work. So I would never recommend supplements just to throw them out there. Like when I'm working with a client, we usually would run through their blood work. I would talk, work with the doctor that I work with, obviously, to make those recommendations. But there are things that people can always look into for their specific, like for their body. A lot of Americans, unfortunately, tend to be low in vitamin D, so usually we do end up having to supplement at least a little bit with that. There also, like, I work with epigenetics as well, so we do like an epigenome test when I work under this naturopathic doctor, and we can see how your body actually absorbs vitamin D once it's in your system. So it's just so interesting, like, to learn all about the science. This is when I start to geek out. I like love learning about how the body works. It's so fun. But a lot of us actually can't turn the inactive vitamin D into active. So we can't turn like the sun into vitamin D3 that our body can use. So some of us actually need to supplement. Like even if we think we're out in the sun enough, some of us just can't flip that to the active version. And so a lot of us do, unfortunately or fortunately. Like once you get your blood work numbers, you'll know if you should or should not be supplementing. But I do often recommend vitamin D3. Do recommend liquid, and taking it with food helps your body to absorb it a little bit better. You mentioned turmeric, great for inflammation, anti-inflammatory, lots of benefits with that. Always just have to make sure with your medications that nothing's interacting, nothing's causing your medications to not, it could make your medications not at like diminish the strength of your medications, and other medications actually increase the strength of your medications. So you always have to be careful with turmeric, just making sure of that. So always check with your doctors, right?
Mhm.
Little medical release right here. Always make sure you're checking with your doctors whenever it comes to supplementation. There were a few other things. Did you mention magnesium? I love magnesium glycinate for helping to relaxation at night. No, I
Okay.
don't think you mentioned.
No, yeah, I don't know that magnesium.
Yeah,
It,
but specifically glycinate, because there's so many different kinds of magnesiums, and you want to make sure that you're taking the right one. Because also, like magnesium citrate can help with bowel movements, so we want to make sure we're doing the right one. There was
the one that you mentioned can help you sleep better.
magnesium glycinate can help you to relax if you're somebody who feels a little bit keyed up sometimes.
Okay.
For some people, it can.
Okay. Yeah, look into that. Yeah, I do take vitamin D as well. And knock on wood, but
Knock on wood.
I haven't been to the doctor this year. I'm going to go soon. I usually go around this time of year, but last year I went and everything was great. Actually, I remember
Awesome.
that the doctor said you're getting healthier as you get older, which was pretty remarkable in my view.
Mhm. I feel like I'm the same way. I feel like there were so many things I just wasn't aware of when I was younger. And I'm like, I wish I found all of these things 20 years ago. I wish
Yeah,
I knew this, but you live and learn,
can't
right?
go
So,
back. What about
yeah.
peptides? Do you know anything about that?
So no, that would be like definitely a question for my co-host Lauren. I wish she was here because she's all about like peptides and things like we actually were going to have an episode on that. So I could do some research for you. I'm happy to do research for you, but I don't really know as much about that because it doesn't come up with my clientele specifically.
Okay. Yeah, I've been taking that for about a year now, a little over a year, and I mean, it's like nothing is like it's it's going to be a quick fix, but I feel more limber. I feel like I can
Mhm.
stretch better. I feel like I have more energy, so I would recommend it. I feel like my skin
That's
it
awesome.
increases the look of my skin, so I would recommend it.
hmm We did just do a podcast episode on creatine, talking about all the benefits of creatine too. Do you supplement with creatine at all?
I
For
don't know.
working out? No.
What can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it can help to support muscle building, but also could help with brain function. So it's like very interesting some of the benefits. We spoke specifically about Thorn, the supplement for Thorn, but definitely, of course, always make sure that you're looking into these. These are general recommendations that we're making, just kind of just chatting away here. But yeah, there's a lot of benefits to it. It can also help with recovery from workout recovery for some people. And it's like what you said, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be like, oh, I took my creatine and now I'm like ready to go.
Yeah.
But for some people, it could also help with focus. So even if you're not somebody who is really working out hard or like hitting the weight room floor, it could even help like if you need to get through that day of meetings, it could for some people help them to feel a little more focused. So there has been a lot of research behind the benefits, which is interesting.
I take lion's mane for that, like these gummies, and
Mm,
I've seen an increase in focus, so I would recommend those.
that's awesome.
Do you, so this is like one of my guilty pleasures. I drink these a lot. I drink a lot of these a day. Do you know anything about these buy drinks? I'm addicted to these
Oh
things.
my goodness, my mom loves them because of the flavor.
Yeah, I'm addicted to them. You could give it a high ranking. Do you have any insight on it?
No, I don't. What does it say on the back of the label? I'll
Ugh.
put you around the spot now.
Filtered water, coconut water, potassium citrate, citric acid, acacia gum, Stetiano extract, natural flavor, sea salt, tea extract, green coffee bean extract, malic acid, coffee fruit extract, monk fruit extract, natural flavor, DL alpha, uh, actiate, vitamin E, and zinc sulfate. Contains coconut.
Hmm. I don't know. So the only thing that like bring pings my ears up is the natural flavors because I've learned a lot that anything can fall under natural
Yeah, what
flavors.
does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're somebody who's concerned about like keeping it with less ingredients, it might not be like what's supporting your goals. But if it's the way that you're getting your water in, drink it, right? Like get your water in however you need to get your water in. I want you hydrated.
Yeah, apparently it has a lot of electrolytes, and
hmm
it's a natural source of caffeine. Like I don't drink caffeine anymore.
hmm
Stopped about like 8 or 9 years ago because it was making me very anxious. But this does not, and it just makes me feel it's like just part of my routine, just like a cup of coffee would be a part of a routine. So I love it. I love the cherry flavor. Actually, I know like where you can get each flavor at each Wawa in the area. I love
That's
it.
great.
Yeah, these things. It's a little strange, but
You should
I
put that in the show notes.
I know.
You know.
I really enjoy them.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it
awesome.
hydrates me, it gives me a lot of energy, I think, and
Mhm.
natural energy, it feels like. So that's
Yeah.
what I get
Yes.
every hit that Wawa, get the buys, and then right off to the gym, man. So
Yeah.
part of the routine.
I love that. You got to do what you got to do to hydrate. So my only concern, again, like I said, would be the word natural, that natural flavors term. But then we're getting really nitpicky, you know?
Okay.
So if you're feeling good doing it, great. I don't want to be like that.
Yeah. So to wrap up here, let's talk about cheat meals. Uh, yeah, like so where, you're obviously very healthy. This is your whole life. It's more than just something you're relating to
Mhm.
clients, like that you walk the walk, you talk the talk. But if you do like have a cheat meal or you go out, like how do you enjoy yourself in that realm? Do you have any cheat days or cheat meals?
Okay. I don't use the word cheat though, because I
Oh,
always say
okay. All
like
right.
this is my lifestyle, right? So I got
Yeah.
to make it work. So it's
Yeah.
like 70, 30, 80, 20. So I don't I don't feel like I have to like have but there is one like I have and I call it my kryptonite because I cannot pass by a frozen yogurt place and not get frozen yogurt. I love frozen yogurt. So like you with the Wawas and the buy, I am like that with like down here. I know that Yellow Brick Road in Brick, if any of you have not been there, you need to try it. They have the most amazing vanilla frozen yogurt. It's so good. Get it in a cone with lots of like rainbow sprinkles. Like I'm going to town. I love frozen yogurt.
More than ice cream?
Yeah, well, you know what? You know what it is? I'm lactose intolerant, so I
Okay.
can't have real ice cream. So, and I guess it's the like the all the cultures and the stuff in the frozen yogurt, so it helps like I can actually digest it. So for me, yes, I do not I do not eat ice cream.
I love ice cream and frozen yogurt. That's my favorite
Mhm.
dessert. It's is those two things. I just love it. There used to be all these frozen yogurt places where you could actually do the self-serve. About
Love
10
them.
most of them went out of a lot of them went out of business. You can still
Mhm.
find some places, but there was like a boom of that about 10, 15 years ago and it kind of went away. But those that was great. I mean, I agree. I love frozen yogurt. I love ice cream too. It's my favorite.
And there was a place in Staten Island that my husband and I, one summer, we went almost every day or every other day, and we missed a week. When we came back, the owner was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so happy you guys are okay. I thought something was wrong." That's how often we went to this frozen yogurt place where you can make your own like frozen yogurt sundae. It was so good. But they're gone too. They're all gone.
There most of yeah, because there was like a big boom and then there was a crash. And they all
Hmm.
it was I think it was an easy way to kind of make money at first, but then they're oversaturated and they kind of all went away.
Hmm.
What about restaurants? What are some of your favorite restaurants in the area or things you could recommend?
Okay. I love sushi. And in Asbury Park, do you remember I don't Taka, the sushi place Taka in Asbury? I love it. I switched the reservation on my birthday because I love it there so much. So I had to go there for my birthday because it's just the best. Charlie's of Bayhead, love that place. The ambiance is beautiful, the food's great. Their pear martinis are so good. Can't pass them up. I'm like, where else do we go that we like? And then like just local spots are pretty great. I actually really like Turning Point, the breakfast place. Have you been?
No, no.
No, okay. That I really like it. It's
Good.
good.
All right, cool. Well, awesome. Well, where tell us a little bit about your podcast. How can we watch and listen and where can we follow you on social media?
Okay, so the podcast is called the Empowered Women's Wellness Project. And as you know, I have the backgrounds working with cancer survivors and thrivers. My co-host Lauren Brown is a triathlete, a triathlon coach, and an endurance sports nutrition coach. So she brings that whole other side. I was just talking to you before we hopped on. I'm basically like the yogi, the om, the wellness end, and Lauren does a lot more of the fitness, strength training. She's really the supplement mind too. She has an such a brain for everything. The two of us really, I feel like, bounce off each other really well. You can listen to us wherever you stream your podcasts, wherever everybody's listening to you. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can follow us on social media at Empowered Women Wellness Project. My personal Instagram, you can find me. That's where I'm most active, Amanda.Gargiulo. My website is just amandagargiulo.com or thenourished.warrior.com. Please reach out though. Don't feel funny DMing me. Like slide right in. I love to hear from the community. I love to support you. You know, even if it's just an idea, like you want to send me a picture of your meal and be like, how can I make this better? I would love that too. I love to go live too and share recipes. Lauren and I coach live sometimes too. So you can definitely come join us.
Very cool. Awesome. And before we end here, I just want to give a shout out to your brother, the man who put us in contact, Matt Grossman,
Mhm.
excellent actor, has a new movie out. We were both at the screening at the Garden State Film Festival in Cranford back in March. Fantastic film. Is that streaming now? That film is that people can watch it online? Do you know?
I don't think so.
Beggar Man, Beggar Man. It was a great
Yeah,
film, great film.
it
And
is.
yeah, I don't know if it's on Prime or Tubi yet, but really, really well done. And Matt was an actor in it and also produced it. And just a great guy in the New Jersey film community that I've had the pleasure of meeting a few years ago. And just wanted to give him a shout out because he's such a great dude.
Hmm. I second that. I'm lucky to be his sister.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Amanda. We'll maybe we could do this again and give us some updates on just how things are going and more tips to stay healthy. So thank you so much.
Thank you.